Welcome to Math 218. My name's Brian Fitzpatrick. I'll be your lead instructor for this semester. I wanted to start this semester off by giving you an introductory video to the course. Here I'm going to describe some of the bureaucratic aspects of the class. Since we're doing everything online, I feel like that's especially important. So I have some slides prepared for you, and also I'd like to visit the course webpage to explain a few things. So let's jump right into it. So who's involved with this course? Well, we'll start with myself. My name is Dr. Brian Fitzpatrick. Here's just a few bits of info about me. The URL to my personal webpage is bfits.xyz. You're going to be going there a lot this semester because everything about the course is organized there. My email is bfitzpat@math.duke.edu. You should have an email from me if you're watching this video, so you should know how to contact me through email. Here's my personal Zoom room in case we have to have a Zoom meeting together. And that's a picture of me. And in case you can't hear it in the background, that's a picture of me with my newborn twins. So I've been on parental leave for a semester. My two twins were born last February, February 22nd. And if your memory reaches back that far, you might remember that was sort of the before times. So I took parental leave in the fall, and so I'm back now. So keep in mind, this is my first semester doing stuff online, so I'm a little bit new to this process. So I'll keep that in mind as the course comes together. So this is a big course. There's over 100 of you organized into 4 discussion sections. So we have 2 TAs which will help run our discussion sections. Chao Shin will run 2 of the discussion sections. I believe the discussion sections that meet Monday and Wednesday. Chao's contact information is listed here. And also Simon Shu. Simon will be running the discussion sections that meet Tuesday and Thursday. And Simon's contact information is here. So let's just jump right in, and I want to sort of articulate what a typical work week is going to look like for you as far as this course is concerned. So this 2-week calendar pretty much summarizes what the life cycle of a typical work week in Math 218. So so all of the green cells in this calendar correspond to one of the discussions that you will meet to discuss the material in. So each one of you is in one of the 4 discussion sections. You're either in one of the 2 sections that meets Monday, Wednesday, or one of the 2 sections that meets Tuesday, Thursday. The blue cells here are the office hours that we've set up for me and or for myself and the TAs. So my office hours will run every Monday from 4:05 to 5:05. Chao's office hours will run Mondays and Wednesdays from 3 to 4. And Simon's office hours will be from 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. every Friday. Now, the red cells here are the things to pay attention to. So here is how work will operate in this course. Each Wednesday morning, 3 things will be released. There will be lessons released on the course webpage, which I'll show you in a moment. There will be problem sets released through Gradescope, and there will be quizzes released through Gradescope. So those 3 things are released every single Wednesday. Now, the lessons in this course will be done asynchronously. So I will post lecture slides on the course webpage, and I will make videos like this where it's just me and my silly face lecturing over those slides. And links to those videos will be posted on the course webpage. So you can work through that material asynchronously. However, the work is collected on a regular schedule. So each lesson will have a quiz associated with it, and each lesson will have a problem set associated with it. Those are released Wednesday, and you have 9 days to complete those. And those are the quizzes and the problem sets are due the following Friday. So not the Friday 2 days after they're released, but the Friday 9 days after they're released. So that's a typical work week. Is material is released on Wednesdays, and then homework and quizzes are due in Gradescope 7 p.m. every Friday. To attend any public thing for the course, so to attend one of your discussion sections or to attend one of our office hours, all you need to do is navigate to the course webpage and click the little Zoom icon. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. What about grades? So how are grades going to work? So my goal here is to keep it simple. So there are three things that you are graded on. There will be the problem sets associated to every lesson. There's the comprehension quizzes associated to every lesson. And then there's a small part for participation. So let's start with the problem sets. The problem sets will count for half of your grade. So that's 50%. And these will be released, like I said, every single Wednesday when the lessons are released. And every lesson that is released will have a problem set. So if on a Wednesday I release 3 lessons, there's 3 problem sets associated with those lessons. So here's what you need to do. Those problem sets will be on Gradescope and they're templated. So you will need to download and print the template from Gradescope. So this means you have to have access to a printer. So I trust that everyone is capable of gaining access to a printer. I think if you can manage to find things on like this website and this video online, you should be able to find access to a printer. If you're in absolute dire straits and you can't find access to a printer, contact me and maybe we can get something sorted out. So those will be released every Wednesday. So it's your responsibility to download those templates, print them, and work through those problems throughout the following 9 days. And then the deadline is the following Friday at 7 p.m. And it is your responsibility to upload your worked solutions to Gradescope by the deadline. And you will have a late allowance. So I'll keep the submission window open for 48 hours after the deadline. And I'll give you an allowance of 2 late submissions without penalty. And after that, late submissions will come with a penalty. So I feel like that's pretty generous. There, that gives you 2 opportunities to turn in something late without penalty. So that's problem sets. There's also comprehension quizzes. So in addition to a problem set for every lesson, there's a comprehension quiz for every lesson. Those are also on Gradescope, and you will actually take those in Gradescope. For every lesson, there's going to be a quiz that's roughly 10 questions long, which will have like multiple choice and like fill in the number questions. And those are really designed to track your understanding of the lectures as they're released. The same rules go for those, except you don't have to print anything because you're taking them in Gradescope. You'll get 2 48-hour late extension, 2 48-hour late extension allowance. So you can turn 2 of those in late. After that, you'll start to incur penalties for late work. And then for participation, the thing, I want everyone to attend everything, but I also realize that times are a little weird right now. So my requirement is that you attend half of the discussions, but not in the aggregate. You need to attend one of your discussion sessions every week. That is the minimum you need to achieve to get full participation credit. So if you miss both of your discussions in 1 week, that will count against you for the participation portion of your grade. Frankly, I think it's hard to be successful in the course if you're missing even that many. You really should be attending every single discussion in addition to office hours. So that is the requirement, even though I think it's probably, the bar is a little too low there. So you must attend at least one of your discussion meetings every week in order to get full participation credit. Okay, so how does the flow of the course work? So like I said in the schedule slide, material will be released every single Wednesday, and then the following Friday, 9 days later, problem sets and quizzes will be due. So right now, if you went to the course webpage, we'll do that in a moment together, but if you went to the course webpage, at the landing page for the course, you'll find a table, which is really a schedule of topics. And right now, there's only 3 topics. This week, I'm releasing these welcome slides, and then a lecture on matrices and vectors, and a lecture on digraphs. So right now, this is the important part of the landing page for the course site. You'll see on the left here, this column tells us the deadline for the materials associated with these lectures. So the very first deadline is the Friday, the 29th of January. That's when you'll have to submit your welcome quiz, which is on Gradescope. And I don't have any problem set for the welcome lecture, but you will submit problem sets and quizzes for both matrices and vectors and diagrams. If you click on the link for the topic here, that will take you to the lecture slides for the topic. That's the primary resource for the material for the course. And then off to the right here, you'll find these buttons under resources. Here, the YouTube icon will take you to a YouTube video by me where I'm lecturing over the material. And then for certain topics, you might find a button, this is called Sage here, that'll take you to another area on the website where I have some like calculator cells where you can outsource certain calculations to a computer. Now, how do you attend discussion? Discussions are synchronous in the sense that they all meet at a set time. Discussions are synchronous, and the idea is that in discussion, the expectation is that you are working through the current material, and we will treat the discussions as sort of a help session. So for each discussion, whether it's me or the TA leading it, we'll likely maybe present maybe an example, or we might go over a few of the key points from lecture, but we won't be lecturing over all of the material. You're expected to keep up with all that work on your own. But we will work over problems, and we will field questions. So my idea, or sort of my intent here, is that you are thinking actively about all of the problems in the problem sets and the quiz problems. And as sort of we collectively struggle through some of those problems, we can work through some of those in discussion sections. Okay, so the course webpage. This is your homeland for this semester as far as 218 is concerned. I've tried to keep it simple. Everything you need for the course is linked to from here. So if you navigate to the course webpage, you'll see something that currently looks like this. So this is my personal webpage where I organize my teaching stuff. And in particular, you'll find three sort of menu buttons near the top of the title page for the course. You'll find this sort of like list emoji. That'll take you to the home page of the course where I have the schedule listed out. There's a calendar emoji. If you click on that, that'll take you to an area on the site where I have a calendar that organizes all of the dates for the course. There is a Zoom icon. If you click on the Zoom icon, that'll take you to the public Zoom room for the course. The password is embedded in that link. So again, my intent here is that everything is as easy as possible. You should be able to click that link, and that will take you to the room. And if it's the right time of day for your discussion, that's where discussion happens. If it's during my office hours, I'll be there doing office hours. If it's during one of the TA's office hours, they should be there, so on and so forth. If you need to schedule something privately with me, we'll use my private Zoom room, but everything public for the course can be accessed through there. There's also a link to Gradescope. Remember, all of the work for the course, all of your problem sets and quizzes are done in Gradescope. You can click that link and that'll take you to Gradescope. By the time you watch this video, you should have received an email from Gradescope inviting you to join the actual Math 218 course. So make sure you're on the lookout for that. And finally, this sort of scroll emoji has basically the material in these slides, just in a more official looking document. What about the textbook? So I've been teaching this course for maybe 3 or 4 years now, maybe 3 years. And this course has sort of evolved through the years. And when I first started, we used Gilbert Strang's Introduction to Linear Algebra as sort of the official textbook for the course. My lectures were roughly following some of the chapters in this book, and I assigned homework problems from this book. Over time, though, I've sort of, the material has kind of evolved, and I've written a lot of my own material, and I've written a lot of my own problems. So even though this is technically the official resource for the course, I view the priority here as in terms of you obtaining it as low. If you want a solid resource for introductory linear algebra material, this is a great book. But if you're in the class and you just want to follow what's going on, you can use my slides as the official resource. So I'm not requiring that you pick this book up, but it certainly might help if you want an extra resource. Okay, so what about expectations? So there's 2 categories of expectations that I have from you. So the first category is sort of academic expectations. So the first thing that you really need to do well in the course is you need to keep pace. Everything is done online, so things are just a little bit different than normal. So it's extra important that you're keeping up with the material as it comes out. So, like I said, I'm releasing lessons and work every Wednesday. So it's really important that when something is released, you start to work through it as soon as possible. So work through your lessons quickly. Try not to procrastinate and put things off, because as you start to put things off, those lags start to compound and you get further and further behind. So it's really important that you keep pace. The second thing is that it's important that you participate. It's really important to attend and contribute to discussion and office hours. So this is a 200 level math course. It's not a 100 level course. So we're developing lots of new ideas, and we're digesting these new ideas quickly. And one key component to that is going through the lessons on your own and working through problems. But as you start to move up through the ranks of math and frankly just more complicated ideas, interacting with each other about the material becomes a really key component. So make sure that you're showing up to all your discussions. Make sure that you're showing up with questions. Make sure you come to office hours. Participating in that way really does help solidify material, even if it doesn't feel that way in the moment. So make sure you're participating. Communicate. Things are weird out there. It's a different world than it was a year ago, and I get that. It's weird. It's weird for me. So if you had something going on or you're struggling to keep pace, it's most important that you communicate early. The last thing you want to do is maybe fall behind because something's going on, and then 2 months later you email me and say, hey, I got this thing going on. At that point, it might be too late to be able to get you back on track. So it's really important that you keep an open line of communication with me or your TA. I'm always available through email. My goal here is to be as present as possible. So keep in mind there's 100 of you in 4 sections, so I'm sort of balancing my time between sections, and I'm also trying to generate all this material. But I really do want all of you to do well and succeed, so make sure you reach out to me if you need anything. And from the academic point of view, the last bullet point I have here is practice writing. So this is something that I always include in my courses. So it's one thing that gets lost on students sometimes is that in math, there is often a quote unquote answer to a question. But it's almost never the answer that I care about when I'm reading students' work. It's the solution you write. So learning how to communicate your ideas clearly is, in my opinion, the point of this course, and frankly, the point of any upper level math course, or mid to upper level math course, or really any math course. So I want you to practice writing your solutions well. I don't care that much about the answer. So if the answer to a problem is 7, if you write this really ugly solution that I can't read, but then you box the number 7, I'm frankly not that impressed, and that to me is not a complete solution. I want to see something written nicely that expresses your ideas, how you got to the answer. That to me is the bulk of the problem, not the answer itself. So try to keep that in mind as you're working through problems. A lot of students struggle, in my opinion, because they get very, very focused on getting answers right, and they kind of forget that their job is to actually communicate their thought process. And if you're following a solid thought process and you're communicating well, the answers eventually will pop out of that process. Frankly, I'd rather see a really well-written solution with good ideas that follow naturally with a mistake at the end that gives a wrong answer than a really bad solution with the right answer. And the second category of expectations is personal conduct. We're doing all this over the internet, and if there's one thing I've learned about the internet, it's that it makes people crazy. And that's not just over the past year, that's been for decades now. The internet just makes people crazy. So the first thing that I'm asking from you is just to be nice. If we're going to be doing lots of communication over Zoom and lots of communication over email, it's important to remember that the thoughts that are in your head don't always translate to even the Zoom format, but especially written communication. So think about how you're communicating with me, the TAs, and your peers before you initiate the communication or before you finalize the communication if you're writing something. So try to always be nice. Don't let the internet take hold of you and make you too crazy. The second thing that I'm asking from all the students is just be patient. Um, I'm generating a lot of material and putting it online, and the fact of the matter is typos, miscommunications, and misgrading are a fact of life. That doesn't mean we have to permanently live with them. Typos, miscommunications, misgrading can all be fixed. But it's important to remember that these things will happen, and the best way to get them resolved is to sort of calmly address these issues. So if you're working through like a quiz problem and you think there's a typo, or if you're watching a video and you think that I said something wrong, the first step is just maybe you're right, to admit or to acknowledge that maybe you are right. But the second step is to just calm down and then politely kind of reach out and say, hey, I noticed this thing. Is that a typo? The last thing I want to get are like angry Yelp review emails from students who are mad that I missed a negative sign somewhere. I'm human. I mess stuff up sometimes. That's totally fine. I want to hear your feedback, but I also don't want to read angry Yelp reviews. The third bullet point here I have is be humble. So this is an introductory linear algebra course, and I'm not assuming that anyone knows anything about matrices or vectors. But I've learned over the years that some people sometimes have seen certain things, and they're happy to just go with what they've seen before and move on. I think this is a big mistake that students make. I think the best thing you can do for yourself, no matter what your background is try to approach this material with a clear state of mind. So if we're doing something like matrix multiplication and you've seen that before and you think you know everything there is about it, I think the worst thing you can do is ignore the way we're doing it in class, because we might be presenting material in a slightly different way or with a slightly different motivation than what you've seen before. And so if you just have the mindset, oh, I've seen this before, I don't need to learn it again, you very likely are missing out on something that I view as foundational and important. And later on in the course, when I need to draw on the intuition I expect you to develop, you might not have the intuition, even though you think you understand the concept. So be humble and try to approach this material from a fresh state of mind, which is easy to do if you've never seen something before, but a little bit harder to do if you've seen it before. I have a PhD in math. But I love teaching this course because every time I go back and I rethink the material, I actually learn something. And the times that I learn the most are the times when I take something that I think I understand and then strip my memory of it and relearn it. So there's a ton of value in that process. So I really encourage you to sort of embrace that process. And the fourth thing is I'm asking you to humor me. Remember, I'm into math. I'm not into school. So for me, I'm an expert in mathematics. I love learning about math. I love teaching math. School is not necessarily my thing. So when I'm having a conversation with you, I'm excited to talk to you about some sort of problem we're working on mathematically or some sort of mathematical concept. That's what gets me excited. That's why I have this job. Over the years, I've sort of learned that some students really just are into school and they're really into the bureaucracy of the class and things like that. And of course, those things are important. I'm putting as much effort as I can to making this a seamless online course. But that's not really where my heart is. My heart is in the course material. I love talking about math. So keep that in mind as you're talking with me. I want to hear everything that you're experiencing in the course if you need to communicate with me. So I'm not asking you to refrain from sharing anything with me, but just humor me. If we're trying to talk about a mathematical concept, try to see it from my point of view. Like, that's where I want to be. I like to talk about math. I'm not so into school and I don't know, like rules and things like that. I really am here to talk about math. But that being said, if there's rules and school stuff you need to talk to me to, I'm here for that too. I'm just trying to give you an idea of where my mindset's at. So I guess before I let you go, I want to navigate to the course webpage. So the course, the course webpage is hosted on my personal website, and the URL is bfits.xyz. You should have a link to that by now because you likely got to this video from an email from me where I had a link to this website. So if you navigate there, you can see this is my personal webpage with information about me. And if you click Math 218, that'll take you to the place where everything is for the course. As promised, we have our 5 icons in the upper right-hand corner. If you click this list emoji, that'll just take you to the home page where I have the schedule listed. If you click the calendar emoji, that will take you to a Google Calendar where I have a schedule of all the happenings of the course. So as you'll see, I'm recording this on the 19th of January. Tomorrow's the first day of class for everyone. And you'll see here, week 1 material will be released by that point. So on Gradescope, you'll see the quizzes for week 1 and the problem sets for week 1. You'll see 9 days later that the week 1 homework will be due at 7 p.m. and the week 1 quizzes are also due at 7 p.m. Next week on Wednesday, the 27th, week 2 material will be released, and then the homework and quizzes for that week will be due on the 5th of February at 7, and that cycle will repeat until the end of the course, which I guess, let's see here, we can go over sometime in April. I guess April 23rd is the technical last day of class, so we got 13 weeks of this schedule pattern. And of course, also you'll find here the schedule that indicates when discussion sections are, office hours are listed here, so on and so forth. So if there's something that you feel like is going on in the class and you can't remember when it is, this is the first place to go. Also, the third link here is the Zoom link. So if whenever you need to attend discussion or if you want to attend office hours, all you got to do is click that link and it'll take you to discussion or office hours. Again, I want to try to keep this as simple as possible. I also have a link to Gradescope. So if you click this link, that'll take you to Gradescope. So I'm going to click it real quick. That takes you to Gradescope. You can log in to Gradescope. And again, by this point, you should have received the email that will link your account to the course. So you should be able to access the problem sets and quizzes by the time you watch this video. And the third thing, or I guess, sorry, the fifth thing here is the official course policies document. Again, this is just a more official looking version of the slides that we just went through together. To finish this welcome video, I want to go back to the homepage. So here is the schedule. So right now there are 3 topics released, the first of which is just the welcome topics. If you click on the welcome topic, you'll find a link to the slides that we just discussed. And that's typically how the lessons will be released. If there's a new topic released, you can click on the topic and that will take you to the slides for the topic. So the first official math lecture is called Matrices and Vectors. The slides are here for you to work through on your own if you want to. But if you prefer to not work on those alone, you could click on the YouTube link. And that will take you to a playlist where it's me lecturing over the lecture slides. So I definitely expect that you are watching these videos as they're released. And the idea is you can work through those videos and then work on the problem sets and quizzes as they're released through Gradescope. Finally, the only thing I haven't mentioned here or I haven't clicked on yet are these Sage icons. I have videos about these on the playlist, but if you click on one, this will take you to another area of the site where there are sort of some computational things associated to each lecture. So we'll integrate some of those things into the work we do this semester. So that's all I have to say about Math 218. I'm really excited to be back to work. I've been working hard on getting everything ready. It's like I said, it's a new format for me. So you guys are all way ahead of me in terms of all this technical stuff. I'm still learning things like Zoom and all that. So be nice. I look forward to meeting all of you this week in discussion. So cheers.